Check. Live view is good. I think I'm good. It is the end of the second week of the lockdown. It has affected everybody, businesses, personal lives. Today we're going to talk about if contracts are still applicable prior to or force majeure is in effect in these kind of situations. Let's get into it. Welcome to the channel, guys. My name is MJ, and if you guys like to dive into the stock market, finance, and investing, please consider subscribing. And for this video to spread around YouTube algorithms, please give it a like. On Facebook, that would be great. Following me on Instagram, Marlon J. Manuel, and on Facebook to keep the communications ongoing. Alright guys, before we get into it, I just got to put it out there. Just a disclaimer, I am not your real estate agent yet, and I am not a lawyer. So if you guys have any questions about your real estate deals or anything of such, you have to consult your real estate agent or lawyer or CPA or whoever's taking care of you. I'm just a guy on YouTube. With that said, let's get into it. So first things first, we got to know the situation. So before coronavirus, before the lockdowns, before the quarantines, you made a contract that is supposed to last until maybe, as of right now, maybe in the next few months, maybe in the next few years. But because of the severity of the pandemic, things had to change. The government had to impose quarantines, the businesses had to shut down, personal lives had to change. Therefore, we got to dissect what's in the contract first. In real estate contracts, there are 6 things that are needed to make it valid. Number 1 and number 2 are acceptance and offer. Offer and acceptance. This basically means the buyer and the seller. Number 2, there is considerations. Considerations are number 1, money. Number 2, goods and services. Number 3, love and affection. Number 4, namesake or some. Number 4, namesake or something that is of value. Number 4, which is pretty important, consent. So consent means you are not doing any fraudulent activity. You are not imposing as somebody else. You are not under duress, under influence. Basically, you are getting into contract with your own free will. Number 4, very important, legal purpose. You are gonna get into contract, buy property, making sure that this is of legal purposes and nothing illegal. I think that's I screwed that up. Last but not least, number 6, both parties need to be legally competent. What does that mean? Number 1, you have to be 18 and over to at least validate the contract. Or if you are a senior citizen who has to have a guardian or has to have power of attorney to take care of your business, you're going to need that. So with that out of the way, we know now what are needed to be in the contract. So what does it take for a contract to be voided? There are 4 things out of the 6 things that I told you. So out of the 6 that I mentioned, 4 of those already, you're going to need those. If you don't have those, that means the contract's voided from the start. Number 1, you're going to need an offer or. Number 2, you're going to need an acceptor, meaning you're going to need offer and acceptance. If you don't have any of those, that's a done deal. Number 3 would be consideration. If you don't have any considerations, done deal. Number 4, it has to be legal. If it's not legal, then it's illegal. There's 2 other things that voids contracts, one of which is the government. Government has the power to have eminent domain, meaning they can do whatever they want given that they're going to pay for the property. That also constitutes condemnation. That's another separate video. We're going to talk about that later. The last would be act of God. What does act of God mean? It also means force majeure. Force majeure, it basically means...
Here's the definition of force majeure. Unforeseeable circumstances that prevent someone from fulfilling a contract.
There you go. In most cases, force majeure applies during natural disasters, typhoons, hails, possibly a fire, possibly lightning. Unforeseeable that even an insurance company would probably don't know what to do. With that said, force majeure, is that something that's applicable in this kind of situation where the pandemic, nobody has seen it, nobody has experienced it, the government doesn't know what to do with it in the beginning. They had to make audibles and make changes to stretch the curve, so they say. Force majeure, something like this, it could void a contract, but it depends. In this kind of situation, if you are in contract and you're questioning if you can get out of it or not, talk to your real estate agent and see how he or she can handle the situation, especially with her or his broker. Number 2 option is I would consider calling or emailing the state division, the real estate division. Applies force majeure, act of God, or no? And if they do, then yes, there is no breach of contract, the contract is void. If they don't, then option number 3, you're gonna have to beg or get down on your knees or whatever you need to do to negotiate with the seller, because ultimately it's written, it's a purchase agreement, and it is binding. I would consult back with the seller and see what you guys can negotiate with. I hope that sheds a light on the topic, got some enlightenment out of this video. Please give it a like, and if you guys have any questions about real estate, finance, or stock market, please don't forget to put it on the comments below. I really appreciate it. Please consider subscribing, and if you guys want to follow up on what I've been doing, give me a shout out at Instagram, Marlon J. Manuel, and on Facebook, Marlon J. Diaz Manuel. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you guys sooner than later. Peace.